Buck, what's up, man? Notre Dame can smell the sweep. Yeah. I mean, hey, we know. I mean, Miami's just it's just Miami's offense was Miami's offense tonight, you know? I mean, that's the thing. Like the pitching was fine. The pitching was really good. It's just that the offense could not put up any runs, which is just unfortunate. And again, I mean, that's Miami this year. I mean, Miami this year is it's just like you don't know they're gonna get 3 hits or they're gonna put up like 7 runs. Like that's basically what you're getting. So I mean, Miami's offense was just Miami's offense tonight. Unfortunate for Miami, but again, I mean, listen, I think it's important to understand that, and I know you know this, Buck, and everyone else. I mean, Miami is still vastly overperforming where everyone thought they were going to be this year. Like no one thought Miami's making the tournament. Everyone thought this roster is the highest turnover in the entire country. There's no way they're going to be good. And for what it's worth, Miami's been has been really good this year. I mean, like nobody wants to face that pitching staff. I mean, again, like Notre Dame is, I mean, let me get these ads off of D1 Baseball's website. I mean, geez, it's so bad. Just get the final here, but we're gonna pull up another the games that are coming in right now. I mean, like Notre Dame scored 3 runs. You know, it's just like Miami's pitching staff did its job. It's just Miami's offense is really bad when it doesn't. You know, most of the time it's just not very good. Which they've overperformed. Their offense is not good, but they're 14-13 in ACC play. NC State won tonight, 7-2. Now 17-9. Hey, I mean, here's the deal, guys. It's about to be interesting with how this finishes up in the ACC as far as who gets to host. Like, that's the thing. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Let me pull up these scores somewhere else so I can actually read those. Okay. All right, let's see. JD, what's up, man? That won't be the case next season, Buck. We are ready with money. All your hitters will decommit. We just lost a 27 commit. Look him up. Carter had not. He's projected top 15 pick in his draft. But I promise you, Buck and Kyle, next season this won't be the case. The Masters will be back. No, I agree. I mean, I think you're gonna have Cuvée back. And you got to get some portal bats, right? I mean, I think that's the key for Miami is you have 2 like guys in your rotation that are going to be really good and they're going to be sophomores. But you need portal bats. Like the focus, I think, for Miami is like hard. You need 2 or 3 legit bats in the portal. Hope you get a couple freshmen that can really contribute. And then Miami's in really good shape. So I agree. I mean, I think Miami should be like a top 25 team next year. But they have to get some portal bats. What's up? How high do you think Tennessee shortstop will get drafted? I don't know, White House. I mean, I think, again, I don't like saying stuff like that. And the only reason is because I haven't watched enough of Tennessee's games to have a really good idea of the caliber of shortstop, the bat, everything like that. So I don't know. I'd have to look it up. And I'm not going to give an opinion that I don't feel like I can justify, in a major way. Let's see here. I have UVA taking ACC. Are you talking about the championship, JD? Are you talking about the tournament? Is that what you mean? We're going to be hunting for masters and elite pitching in the portal. Yeah, that's all. I mean, seriously. I mean, I think if Miami lands like 3 like legit bats and then like a couple arms, I think Miami's like going to be one of the best teams in the ACC next year. I think that's pretty clear. I'll give you more info in 1 month. Can't spill the beans yet. You keep saying that. I keep waiting for what the down low is. Marine. It's Marine, right? Marin. Yeah, he's from Westminster Christian down here. Yep. JD says, yep, okay. He was committed to Miami, but flipped because he was scared that Adrian Santana was going to make it to campus. Santana went pick 31 to the Rays. That happens a lot, man. That happens. Guys decommit when like another guy, their position commits. I mean, that happens way more than you think. And that happened when I was getting recruited. All right, let's see. So in the ACC, Georgia Tech wins a nail biter, guys. Drew Burress, watch out. Drew Burress is back. I mean, he's been quiet all May. And really the second half of the year. I mean, he's been pretty quiet. And he went 4 for 4 today with a hit by pitch. Like he looked really good. I mean, a couple like off the end base hits to start, and then it was like barrel, which is again, that's like that's what a hitter like Drew Burress, that's all he needs. He needs a couple barrels and he's back. So Burress is back. Offense looked pretty good. Duke, I thought Duke's going to win that game for sure. In the 9th inning, it just looked like that was the way it was going to go. But somehow they did not score on a base hit up the middle. Held the runner up, and then it just like they couldn't get a safety squeeze down. It was a brutal inning for Duke's offense because it looked like Tech was dead to rights. I mean, that's what it looked like. So that's a hard one for Duke. That's the type of inning that shifts an entire series because you're like, oh, we got this in the bag. And then not only do you not have it, you don't even tie the game, you lose. And then again, this is a big series for both Georgia Tech and Duke. So that was a massive win for Georgia Tech because it just looked like, especially if you use up, I mean, I think Patel ended up throwing 70 pitches. So you use up Patel in 70 pitches, who's your go-to guy in the bullpen, and you don't get a win, that's usually not a good sign. But they found a way to pull it out. And Santana's from Doral Academy. They've been loyal to us, and their players have been always good for us, at least the elite ones. Put a stake in Texas A&M. They're done. Yeah, I mean A&M's done, man. I mean they have to win the SEC championship, and I think that was the case. I mean I just don't think anyone. When they lost 3 straight to Missouri, like I think their RPI took such a big hit that there's no way. Even if they swept Georgia, I don't think they would have been in. Did you catch what happened in the bottom of the 5th? I didn't, Canes. I was following it on Twitter, but I was watching the Georgia Tech game. All right, let's see. Wake Forest dominated Louisville. And again, watch out for Wake Forest, guys. Wake Forest is going to be a team that nobody wants to play in the tournament because they're a team that I think most people are I think all of us here and most people across the country would agree Wake Forest is probably like underperformed a little bit based on how good everyone thought they were preseason. So if all of a sudden, let's see, like if they sweep this series against Louisville, even if they go 2 of 3, watch out because it's a very talented team that just hasn't played up to their talent. And you're not going to want, again, you got good arms, you got a good offense. You don't want them in your regional. Virginia dominated Virginia Tech. Virginia is back. Virginia's back. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they finish at 17-10 in the ACC. And then you really have to wonder, like that Florida State series, if Virginia finishes at 17-10, that Florida State series is like that Virginia could have easily been a host, right? And that's, again, you guys have heard me say this, but the ACC this year in the rankings is so undervalued. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. Doesn't matter. All right, where's Kane's? What's Kane saying now? Oh, you guys! I mean, I literally talked for 10 seconds. I can't even read. The Notre Dame game ended on a great catch by Torres. He went up to the plate in the next thing and didn't run to first hard. He got pulled and benched. That is something I respect about JD. Oh, JD benched a kid? I did see the catch Mikey Torres made. Really good. And right and left center, I saw that. He's the best center field defensively in college right now. He's really good, man. He is. He's really good. I think Canarella, like I'll say it like this. I think he's up there with Canarella. I've seen Canarella more. but he's very good. Damn. But after he did that, check this. Oh, did you message me, Canes? No, you didn't. It's fine. He went up to the plate the next inning and didn't run to first hard. He got pulled and benched. That is something I respect about JD. Doesn't matter if you saved us 2 runs. You better run, kid. Wiley Ballard Enjoyer, put me on your screen. You're on the screen, buddy. You are on the screen. You're on the screen now. Okay. Let's see. I gotta get rid of some of this stuff. All right. Now, Wiley Ballard Enjoyer, I think I know who you are. And you are on the screen now. He benched Mikey Torres after that because he didn't run hard to first on a play. He would have been safe. Yeah, that's and again in a 1-run game, like why are you not running hard to first base? Why is anyone not running hard to first base? That's something you see a lot more now. I can tell you this. Danny Hall would have benched me no matter who we were playing. I told you guys the story. My freshman year, we're playing UNC, who was number 1 in the country at that time. Or they were like top 5. They were one of the best teams in the country. And I think I was hitting like NCAA.com was there doing a story on me. I was hitting like 400, and we were like over halfway through the ACC schedule. And I missed a sign at first base, like in the first inning, or maybe second or third inning. And I thought he gave steal, and he gave hit and run, or maybe he got it messed up. I don't really know. And of course, the guy behind me, Mott Hyde, hits he swings and grounds out, and I didn't steal. I didn't hit and run, so I got thrown out, or I got out at second, and the inning was over. And I walk in the dugout, and he is ripping me through the dugout, and he takes me out of the game. You're right on UVA, and missing the FSU series is big. And I said that, it's funny, JD, I said that at the time. I'm like, that's a massive series because UVA is playing really well right now. And FSU, you beat FSU because really UVA's issue's been like the RPI thing. I do think UVA is going, if they win the series at 6 and they get to 16-11, how are they not in the tournament? I don't care what your RPI. And the guy on D1 Baseball even said it, RPI is a metric, but how you do in conference also is a big factor. So I think Virginia's in no matter what, even if they don't sweep the series. But that would have been they could have got 2 wins against Florida State, and that would have massively boosted their RPI. His high school coach also agreed with JD pulling him. Good. 15 years ago, guys used to run back to the dugout after striking out. Yeah, that's a bad look. I'm not telling anybody to run back to the dugout. That's a really bad look. But just run hard to first. Put my other messages on there. What other messages? Are you messaging me? I don't know what other messages you're talking about. Is it true you played with Daniel Palka? Yeah, it is true. It is true. One of my best friends, man. Seriously. Kyle, too much showboating, no Huss. That's right. There is. Well, the problem is this. It's not even that it's showboating, JD. The problem is that these kids just don't get taught you need to hustle. When I see the guys in high school, when I saw the guys that, in the high school season this year, what you see is they hit a single and they just they pimp it, they jog. They don't realize that they don't have anyone telling them dude, run hard to first base. Maybe the outfielder is going to bobble it and you need to be able to take second. They don't have anyone telling them that. They don't have anybody telling them that. Wiley Ballard and Joy. I said Duke sucks and Chris Pollard has. I'm not going to say that. Hey, that's a 5-minute timeout warning for the comment. All right, Wiley Ballard enjoyer, watch it. You got one warning. One warning. I will say I was sweating. Those last 2 innings in the Duke Georgia Tech game, I was like, wow, it was terrifying. It just seemed like that Georgia Tech's definitely losing that game. Like that's just the way it felt. But let's go over some of the top 25 games. Big win for UNC tonight. Complete game for their starter. They're growing on me for Omaha. That's what I said today, Buck. You heard me. I think UNC. UNC is my pick to win it all. I think they have an all around really good team. Wake Forest dominated Louisville. We talked about that. Coastal Carolina beat Old Dominion. It's a big series for Coastal Carolina because, again, like, you know, let's say they lose 2 or 3 to Old Dominion. All of a sudden, that kills them in RPI. But I think they'll be fine. They win game 1. Dallas Baptist beats Liberty 6-4. Clemson wins 6-1 against Pittsburgh. No-hit Pitt. They no-hit Pitt, even though they gave up a run. That's always interesting. Texas A&M loses to Georgia. They are now 10-17 and do not have a chance. Or sorry, they're now 10-18. The best they can finish is 12-18. They will need, especially after when 3 of those losses are to Missouri, they will need to win the SEC championship to make the NCAA tournament. And according to Kendall Rogers, they are the first preseason number 1 team. I think let's just say in a very long time, that will not make the tournament barring a championship run. And again, in the SEC tournament now, in the ACC tournament as well, you have to really, you got to run a gauntlet. You got to win 5 games. Like, good luck. NC State beats Stanford 7-2. They are now 17-9. And I think we'll go to Warren Nolan here. Also, how did Clemson throw a no-hitter and they also allowed 1 run? They walks in like an error. Like if they walk 2 guys and then like with 2 outs and then a guy makes an error and the run scores, they can throw a no-hitter and still give up a run. Who's GT hiring next season? There's been nothing confirmed. I have heard, again, that like Ramsey's the favorite, like that's what I've heard. Besides that, there's just nothing. It's been really tight-lipped. So there's no official word. I've heard good things of it, pretty convincing things that it's probably going to be James Ramsey, but you just never know until it happens. So we'll have to wait and see. Kansas beats West Virginia, and West Virginia kind of, it's going to be interesting. Like West Virginia's on that like host bubble right now. If they lose this series to Kansas, I think they fall off of that the hosting chances, and that opens up a host maybe for another ACC team. Florida beats Alabama game 1, moves to 14-14 in the SEC. I still don't get I'm seeing people say Florida's going to be a host. I mean, maybe if they sweep Alabama, but if they finish at 15-15, to me, I think that's dumb, because then you'd have Alabama would be 16-14, and are they not going to be a host? And if it's all about playing in the SEC, then let's just decide the SEC host by their conference record. And also, like, did they play Missouri this year or not? Southern Miss is beating Troy. It may be over now. According to D1 Baseball, it's in the bottom of the 9th, but it's 19. Southern Miss is winning 4-3. North Carolina with a dominant, as Buck said, dominant game over Florida State, 8-3, in Tallahassee. That's a big win for North Carolina. And again, Florida State losing opens up the first place opportunity for the regular season for like a Georgia Tech or an NC State. And I mean, realistically, I mean, if North Carolina wins as well, if they sweep, they could get first place, depending on how the other teams do. Kentucky is beating Vandy 7-5. Kentucky playing well lately, trying to get that record. Oh, excuse me, the SEC record up above 500. I'm in Houston. A&M fans are looking for Early's head. Yeah, I mean, I think that if you just don't click on like the final game score tweets from the A&M social media account. It does. It's not good when you read those comments. And again, I mean, I think that's what do you expect when, again, you're preseason number 1 and you're realistically you're not even making the NCAA tournament this year. That the fans are going to be upset, because A&M's used to be in they were in the final game of the World Series last year, right? And they had a lot of returning people, so it's they went from top of the world, man, we got the best returning team in college baseball, to we're not going to make the tournament. And I actually, what's crazy is I did see a tweet, and I'm not going to say who it is, but I did see a parent of a player at A&M tweeting about if Early gets fired, everyone's leaving. And I was just like, is that what we've got to? Is that what we've come to in college baseball? Is the parents are tweeting stuff out like that? It's just such a bad look. Northwestern beating UCLA. Now this is interesting, right? Because if all of a sudden UCLA falls off big time this weekend, maybe another hosting spot is open. Oregon sent a message. Beat Iowa 10-0. 10-0. Canes, we all saw it. Did you see? You know what I'm talking about? LSU's beating South Carolina 5-4 in Columbia. Auburn getting destroyed by Ole Miss 9-0. Holy cow. Tennessee. Oh, we got to pull up the Tennessee game. We got to pull up this Tennessee-Arkansas game. I'm watching Tennessee-Arkansas. What games are you guys watching right now? Tell me. I got to turn the volume down on these headset. That's not one. That's not what it is. Wiley Ballard is back. I didn't time you out, Wiley. I didn't. But I gave the warning. All right. Timeout is over. Democracy dies in darkness. You have been warned. I don't even know what that means. I mean, I do know what it means, but I don't, I'm trying to get the reference. I'm trying to understand why you said it. The Texas-Oklahoma game is good. Yeah, that looks good too. But again, Tennessee staff, I think most of you guys know this, but I played with Elander. I played with Bonfield. And their strength coach, Quentin Eberhardt, was me and Elander's strength coach in pro ball. So I know their whole staff. I played with all of them. I have the Tennessee game on as well. And the LSU game. I'm already watching Tennessee, Arkansas. Of course you are, Buck. LSU 5-5 in the 9th. Ooh. South Carolina just Palmineri figuring out a way to beat his old team. USC has a chance to walk it off. Are you talking about, dude, South Carolina? We don't call South Carolina USC. USC is Southern California. Right now, opening game in SEC would be Florida, Texas A&M. That'd be a good game. Guys, so I want to give you guys a preview of kind of what's going to come up, what's going to be coming up on the channel, like on the YouTube channel in particular. Obviously, we'll be posting it to X. We're going to have a lot of coach interviews coming up. I probably will not be doing a lot of those live, just so you guys know, because if you think about it like this, like a coach, like let's say we're doing an interview and he says something, he's like, I don't know if I want people to know that, or I don't want that. Like we can edit it out. If we do it live, it's like, we may not be able to do anything. Go, go, go. Tennessee and Arkansas, JD. Nice. Runner third. So right now we have 4 scheduled. We have, let me see. We have 30 in the mix. And that's anywhere from JUCO to Power 4, mid-majors, all across divisions, like the biggest schools, smaller schools, everything. So we're getting all those finalized, scheduled. So like we should have for like hopefully for the next like 30 weeks. Like we should have one of those or maybe even 2 a week coming out for you guys to see, get information about how those schools recruit, what reality of recruiting and everything like that. You guys will have all that. So really exciting, really exciting. And part of the reason why I had to upgrade the camera and the lighting for this, you know, I mean, we got to have it looking right. If we're going to go nationwide, if we're going to go global, we got to upgrade the equipment. We got to be looking professional. And we are. You guys think that like everything looks a lot better, right? Can you ask Elander the question I've been waiting to ask him about? Dude, at Canes, I literally just about took out my camera here for a second. Well, I got to get used to it. I got to get used to it because I keep bumping it with my foot. Canes, generally globalist. Canes, generally any question that you want me to ask a coach is probably not a question I can ask. That's just general, like I don't even have to know the question first. Like if you tell me that you have a question, I'm gonna be like, I need to screen this. This needs to be heavily screened. Now I will probably with my closer relationships, like try to get those guys on some live shows, but just to make sure like coaches are as comfortable as possible, we're gonna do those pre-recorded. Awesome. Coach interviews about recruiting and culture are really useful. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about culture, recruiting, types of guys they like. I'll tell you what, my question I will ask every single coach for you guys is I will ask them more censorship. Sorry, Canes. Oh, yeah. Hey, you're right. You know what? I shouldn't do that. You know what? But I will ask every coach that comes on, I will say, like, how do parents affect the recruiting process in a positive way or in a negative way? And you guys will be blown away by probably some of the responses you get from that question. Barks, what's up, man? Fantastic. Yeah, I'm looking forward. It's gonna be fun. Just talking baseball, man. Globalist. More such. I need to give Wiley Ballard and Joyer like mod perms in here. Like, I just liked what he's saying. It looks good. We just need a top light on the right corner so it can be yellow so we can have the GT colors. A top light, like up here. So my brother Jordan, who obviously is our Southeast guy, he did he majored in broadcast journalism, and he's trying to. I'm gonna have him come over and like make sure everything is like set up the way it should be. Because I don't know that stuff, man. I know baseball, you know. I know baseball and a few other things. And I let experts do the rest. I let the experts around me do the rest. All right, so right now we got Arkansas runner on second, 1 out, down by 1. And you guys understand, I mean, when I say like Tennessee, every team in the country is hoping that Tennessee loses this week. Or is actually hoping they win. Because nobody wants Tennessee in their regional as a 2 seed. Like everybody hopes they beat Arkansas, because if you get Tennessee in your regional, you're like, you gotta be kidding me. And you know what? If you're a Georgia Tech fan, you better hope to God that Tennessee wins this weekend, because Tennessee, like, there is a very good chance Tennessee would get sent to Georgia Tech, right? Because think about regionally, they're not going to Georgia. They're not going to put an SEC in an SEC. They're going to go to Georgia Tech if Georgia Tech hosts. Like if Georgia Tech wins this weekend, and goes 19-11, they will be a host, like for sure. Danny Hall's last year, they're 19-11 in ACC, like they will be a host. If Tennessee loses a series and does not host, Tennessee will be the 2 seed in Atlanta, and that would that would not be good for Georgia Tech. And you can take that to the bank right now. Just watch. Just watch. Agree you should make me a mod. I don't even know how to do that, to be honest. I can do it on YouTube. I don't think I can do it on X. Switch to LSU, South Carolina, and bottom 9. All right. All right, Buck. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. I really dislike when I have to like look for it though. That's the thing. All right, I guess I got to type it in. They're going to make me type it in. It's funny how far college baseball's come, because when I was playing, we had like 7 TV games a year. You had like 7, maybe it was like 10, but it was like a quarter, not even a quarter of the amount of games you played. And so I remember like it'd be like, guys, we're on TV today. Like guys would be putting eye black on, like they'd be putting on way more swag because it was like, oh, we're on TV. Now it's every single game is televised. It's awesome. All right, I have the game up. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Also, because you're bottom left, which is where the mic is, it's a blue light. If you get a light at the top right corner and make it yellow, it will be the Georgia Tech colors. Oh, wild pitch? Wow. But it's like, if I'm South Carolina, like if you're at Pulmonary is like, Pulmonary does not look very happy. I mean, do you guys see that? I mean, and I get it, like their season's kind of done unless they win the SEC championship. But that's the face of a man who knows something that we don't, I think. Like, does he look like super excited that they just walked off LSU? Not even a smile. And this is why I'll tell you guys, like this year, there's not really a team like Texas has been the most dominant team in the country, I think, as far as like winning record, just winning in general. They're in the SEC, they're 20-7, they're 40-10. Like that's very impressive. But they lose their Friday starter. So all of a sudden they're not quite as good, right? There's a chink in the armor. And they're just not quite as talented a team. Like no one expected Texas to be number 1 in the country or number 2 or number 3. And yeah, I mean, Pulmonary's reaction to me is a little bit suspect. All right, now we're going back to Tennessee, Arkansas. 100 Kyle Renz versus Gorilla. Wouldn't need 100, Wiley Ballard. Wouldn't need 100. You can say that. You know what's funny is my grandfather, my mom's dad, mountain man from Pennsylvania. My grandmother who recently passed away, she said she wrote they had like their 65th wedding anniversary or something, and she kind of wrote something. And in it, he was like a hunter outdoorsman. Like this guy's like the Revenant. Like it didn't matter where you put him, like he's finding a way back. He's gonna survive. And my grandmother basically said, like if his name's Tom Raffle, he's like, if Tom Raffle fought a bear, like the bear would probably win, but he would know he fought Tom Raffle. Like that. So you know, that's in there somewhere for me. That's in there. So the Gorilla, I mean, 100, I don't think we need 100. I don't think we need 100. I could be wrong, but no, I'm just kidding, dude. The thing about the gorilla fight, and again, I've been. This is my algorithm. My algorithm right now is cutting grass because I'm really into like getting my lawn better than any other dad in the neighborhoods, like by far right now. That's what I'm into. I want my yard to be dominating. I want my yard to be so much better than everyone else's. They walk by and they're like, dude, this guy's a freak. All he cares about is his lawn. That's my algorithm right now. The second part, Zach, what's up, man? The second part is the 100 men versus gorilla memes. I like that's all I see. The best one I've ever seen is like when Man67, and if you play video games, I've never played Elden Ring, I've never played like Dark Souls. I know what the game is, and I know people that have played it, so I know how it works. And it's like when Man67, who like beat Elden Rings 14 times, said, "All right, I got it. I understand his pattern now," and starts like dodging and parrying the gorilla's attacks. That's the funny, and it's like Joe Rogan and the guys like going like, "Whoa!" like in the background. That's the best one I've seen. But that's my algorithm right now. My algorithm on Instagram is like people cutting their lawn with like, I want a mower. The next big purchase I want is a real mower that like they used to cut putting greens, and that's what I'm going to cut my yard with. Man, good times, man. I love talking to you guys about this stuff. Zach, what's up, man? I know what do you think of the Miami game? Just a case of like the Miami offense just really not showing up, or what? All right, let's see. Warren Nolan, come on. All right, let's see. Double play for Arkansas. No, they zoo the throw. So runner reaches. I'm trying to see the updated standings in the ACC. Let's see what we got here. Gosh, it's like I got like the D1 baseball screen is like super white. The Warren Nolan screen is super white. All right, so right now, NC State is in first place because they're 17-9, even though I think all of us in the stream know North Carolina State was getting swept at Miami. Weather bailed them out. North Carolina and Georgia Tech are now tied for second at 17-10. And let's see, RPI. Georgia Tech's RPI has not been updated yet, I think. It's unbelievable, the rankings right now, man. It's crazy. I need answer. Wait. Oh, your question. Let me see, Zach. Let me see, Canes. Did you send it to me? I don't see it. I don't see it. If you're serious about your lawn, you should be out there with the scissors. Man, I got the edger. I got the weed whacker. I'm doing everything, man. Tomorrow I'm dethatching, I'm aerating, and then I am what's it called? I'm putting a top layer of soil on there. I'm overseeding, and then I'm going to rake the seed into the soil, and then I'm fertilizing, and then I'm watering. Tennessee bomb. So you don't think a gorilla could beat, I know that was a typo, could beat 100 Kyle Renz. No, I don't. I don't think a gorilla could beat 100 Kyle Renz. Didn't hit the ball. I've noticed when Cuvée doesn't hit, the rest of the team doesn't hit. He has to carry the offense. Yes, 100%. 100%. GT is 1-1 away from being a host. Yes, they are. They are. That was, I mean, I don't know if you watched the game today, Zach. The last 2 innings were a sweat. They were a sweat. I mean, it looked like 100% they were going to blow it. And I will say there was a play in the 9th where Duke kind of held up their runner at third. And it was kind of, I thought for sure like game's tied, and they held him up. And then again, they didn't execute. It should have been an easy get the run in with a safety squeeze. They couldn't execute safety squeeze. Me and my dad invested in a 0-turn mower. It's life-changing. Oh, if I had a big enough yard, like my lot is like half an acre. So my yard is big. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't categorize it as big, but I think for a lot of people it's big. But I do not need I don't even really need a riding mower. Now, whenever we, next house, whenever that happens, I want a bigger plot of land. So I will probably need one at that point, but I just have a push mower right now. That's all I need. Now my father-in-law has a push mower, not a push mower, has a 0-turn, very nice mower, and they just moved, and he does not need that. So I'm hoping that, that thing stays around, and maybe I get it for either a good price or maybe out of the kindness of his heart. He just, to his lovely son-in-law, maybe he gives it to me. We'll see. My dad has every piece of major equipment you can have. So we don't need any, and I don't need any of that. All right, let's see. Take that down there. Okay. Knapp secured ACC Pitcher of the Year today. Yeah, it looks like that. 100%. He's just been consistent all year, man. If Tennessee and Clemson both win these series, are they hosts? That's the question. I think Tennessee is. Tennessee will be a host because think about that. If Tennessee wins the series, they're 17-13 in the SEC, which to me, 17-13 in the SEC is like 18-12 in the ACC to me. I think 18-12 is you're a host in the ACC. I think 17-13, you're a host in the SEC. So I think Tennessee will be. And I promise you, Zach, my prediction is this. Yeah, Tennessee's matching. Now they're what? Is it 7-3 or 8-3? They just hit their second home run of the inning. My prediction is this. If Tennessee loses this series and they are a 2 seed and Georgia Tech is a host, Georgia Tech will have Tennessee as the 2 seed because they're not going to go to Vandy. They're not going to go to Georgia. Maybe they send them to Coastal Carolina. I'm trying to think. Maybe they're not going to send them to Auburn. Are they going to send them down to Tallahassee? Are they going to send them to North Carolina, Chapel Hill? I think it's very, very, very likely that if Georgia Tech is a host and Tennessee is a 2 seed, Tennessee will go to Georgia Tech. Because Georgia Tech as a 2 seed always goes to Tennessee. Georgia Tech as a 2 seed always goes to an SEC team, and it's either Florida, Tennessee, or Vandy, every year. And then last year it was Georgia for the first time in a long time. Tennessee's mashing tonight. Wiley Ballard didn't make a typo. Yeah, I know you didn't. I was just giving you the benefit of the doubt. Also, Florida beats Alabama. They are probably hosts. I don't know, dude. I mean, does a 15-15 team deserve to be a host? I don't think so. And I think, again, it's one thing if there's no other deserving teams, but is NC State not going to get a host? If NC State goes, let's say NC State goes, they really could go 19-9 in the ACC. They have to be a host. If Georgia Tech goes 19-11, they have to be a host. So I just don't to me, Florida, I think Florida only becomes a host if they sweep. And even then, if they sweep, Georgia Tech's got to lose their series. NC State's got to lose the remaining 2 games, right? There, I think a few things have to happen for Florida to get a host. Like, I just don't like it. Would rub me the wrong way if Florida got a host in that scenario with that amount of teams that deserve one. It would just, to me, it just doesn't make that much sense. I don't know. I don't know anything, but we'll see. What mid-majors do you think will make a run? I think Coastal's really good. I think Southern Miss is really good. As far as the mid-major that I think has the best, I mean, listen, I think with mid-majors, what you have to think is, like, who's been consistent the whole year? I think there's 2. I think Irvine has been very consistent. And the question is, what you know about Southern Miss and what you know about Coastal Carolina is they've played like really, really legit midweek games against like Power 4, like SEC, ACC teams. UC Irvine has not. Like, Irvine's played the good teams on the West Coast. I'm not taking anything away from them, but they are not quite on the same level as the SEC and the ACC. So that's why I tend to kind of, if I'm going to pick a mid-major, I'm going to go with the Sun Belt team. I'm going to go with the Coastal Carolina. I'm going to go with the Troy. I'm going to go with the Southern Miss. Because those teams have all played SEC. They've played in the SEC environment. They played in the ACC environment. They've been consistent all year. And, that environment is not going to surprise them as much. And Irvine's probably going to be a host, right? Coastal's probably going to be a host. Southern Miss and Troy are probably going. Yeah, I mean, Southern Miss RPI 25, right? If they sweep Troy, did Southern Miss? By the way, Zach, did Southern Miss beat Troy? I know they were winning. And I'll get back to the other question. But Smitty, I hope that answers it for you. So if Georgia Tech wins this series and makes it to the ACC championship, how high will they be? 11 or 12 seed? And makes it to the ACC championship. I mean, like, I don't really care, to be honest. I don't think Georgia Tech gets a national seed unless they win the ACC championship, which is fine. I think that's something like that. I think if they get to the ACC championship and lose, they're probably like 11 or 12. And I think if they win the ACC championship, they're like a 9 or a 10. It would surprise me, but you never know. But it would surprise me if they were a national seed. I mean, I guess if they win the if they win the ACC championship, that could be a possibility. But I don't know, because that's the other question, right? Does like how many? Would you wish a happy birthday to my sister Candace? I don't know what you're going to say after that, so I'm not going to do it. Because I know there's like 2 or 3 ways that could go. And I wasn't born yesterday. Don't sleep on Southern Miss. I think Northeastern has enough pitching to make it through a regional. You're right, Zach. That's a good point. Northeastern, I think Northeastern is a team you're going to be scared to have in your regional because they have legit pitching. That's a good point, Zach. That's the one I forgot. I was thinking the whole time I was sitting there like, I know there's one I'm missing. What I'm missing? Northeastern. And again, my host brother in the Cape Cod League is one of the coaches for Northeastern. I think he's I don't know if he's coaching first base. I know he's like he just finished his career, had a really good career there, and so I'm sure he's like he's either finishing and he's like a student assistant or he's like the 4th coach or something. I don't know. I'll have to text him. All right. Yes, Southern Miss won today. Okay. Yeah, so Southern Miss, like, watch out. They sweep Troy. And I think, again, Southern Miss to be a host, a few things have to happen. Like, Georgia Tech has to lose series. NC State has to lose their series. Florida can't win theirs. Because I think they'd put Florida in as a host over Southern Miss if Georgia Tech and NC State lose. So I think, but again, if Southern Miss wins if Southern Miss sweeps the series against Troy and then wins the conference championship, like, then watch out. Wally Ballard Enjoyer says, please. I don't think so. Maybe if you super chatted on YouTube, maybe that would convince me to do it. But until then, we'll see. Thoughts on DBU? Yeah, Dallas Baptist is another one. I just think Dallas Baptist has been a little bit up and down this year. Again, Dallas Baptist is one of the best mid-majors in the country. I mean, Dan Hefner is like the GOAT, one of the GOATs of mid-major coaches. I thought for sure last year when the A&M job opened, I thought he was like a real candidate to get that job, and I'm sure he was. Again, everyone was surprised with the direction they went, but I mean, Dan Hefner, he's an amazing coach. So like DBU always finds a way to get to a super regional. So that's a good point, Smitty. I think DBU's. I mean, again, there's a lot of. The good thing that if there's one positive from the portal era that we've seen so far is that it seems like the mid majors are getting better. It seems like the mid majors are back to like kind of like the early 2000s, around my playing day, like the late 2008, 2009, 2010 era, like where there was always a few mid majors in the College World Series, or at least one. So I do think we're getting back to that. So there's probably 5 or 6 mid majors out there that you could realistically see making it to Omaha. Virginia's red hot right now. You got to put them in the tournament regardless of RPI. Yeah, Zach, I think the guy who was on the D1 baseball show basically said that. He was like, listen, RPI is great. And he made a good point. He's like, but what if one team has a higher RPI, but the other team whose RPI is a little bit worse beat them head to head in a weekend series and has a better record and is better in the conference? Like, who are you gonna pick? So I think Virginia, if they win this series, they're in the tournament. They have to be. And you have to imagine they probably get one win out of that Florida State series. And with how they're playing, probably 2. Will Mizzou head coach get fired next year? I don't know. And I don't think so, just because the AD came out publicly and said, we have not given baseball the support it needs in the SEC. So it's like, it's hard to hold a coach to, and again, like, Owen, before they got their first win in SEC play, it's like, it had gone really bad. But I think he probably stays. I'm fascinated to see how many SEC and ACC hosts there are. Yeah, I think you're going to see 4 ACC hosts, which to me, I think there probably should be 5, but I think you're going to see 4. But I think it's a good question, Zach. Like, they could be, with the way the season finishes, you could see 5 ACC hosts, and it's going to be interesting. Top 3 coaches in each of the SEC, ACC, and Big 12. Man, it's hard to do that in the SEC, man. Like, how do you do that in the SEC? You got Kevin O'Sullivan, you got Tim Corbin, you got Slosh, you got Tony Vitello, you got Dave Van Horn, you got Rob Vaughn at Alabama. I mean, you got Butch Thompson at Auburn. Like, the list just goes on. I mean, Mingione at Kentucky, who took them to the World Series last year. It's impossible to do that in the SEC. ACC, very similar. I mean, you got Bakich at Clemson. You got Link Jarrett at Florida State. You got Forbes at UNC. I mean, you got way too many good coaches in those conferences. Why wasn't Doyle pitching tonight? I don't know. I didn't even know he didn't pitch. I mean, I think maybe Tennessee was changing it up, man. I think Tennessee was like, we're not winning series. Let's just change it up. I didn't see anything about an injury or anything. Anyone else hear anything? I didn't even know he wasn't pitching tonight. Ole Miss takes game 1 from Auburn. JD at Miami. Yeah, Canes, you're right. JD's done a great job with that team this year. A great job. Like, there's no other way you can say it. JD Arteaga has done a great job at Miami this year with the roster that he has. Great job. FSU, North Carolina, Georgia Tech, NC State. And again, think if Clemson sweeps this series, Clemson's in the mix. There's 5 legit host teams in the ACC. If Clemson finishes well, and again, like Georgia Tech's got to win the series, NC State's got to win the series, but you have like 5 teams have a legitimate chance at hosting. Obviously, FSU and North Carolina are kind of locked up. Why is Big Ten baseball not as good as the other Power Fours? I think it's just because a lot of the Big Ten teams are in cold weather states. Like that's what you find. It just seems like, again, and the ACC has some a decent amount of schools in the cold weather states too, but they seem to be the teams that are not doing as well. Like your Boston Colleges, your Pitt, Notre Dame's playing really well, right? They're finishing super strong. Great job by their coaching staff. But the teams in the Southeast just seem to be getting all the best players. That's just the reality. And so that's part of it, Smitty. The other part is that the SEC and the ACC, for the most part, are the conferences with the most backing as far as like financial stuff. So that helps as well. Zach forgot about Clemson. Yeah, I mean, Clemson has not finished well. But if they win this series, if they sweep this series and they get to 18-12, like it's gonna and they're gonna be over 40 wins, and their RPI is 14. Like that's the big question, right? It's like, Clemson sweeps this series and gets to 18-12. Even at 17-13, they're gonna be in the top 16 in RPI. I will say their Q1 wins and losses is not good. I mean, they're 6-9 against Q1 teams, which hurts them. Your NC State's 7-8, North Carolina 7-4, Georgia Tech's 10-9, Florida State's 11-8. So you have some teams that, like NC State and Georgia Tech are first and second in the ACC, and their RPIs are 26 and 22. Don't sleep on TCU. Yeah. No, TCU. I mean, TCU's TCU, man. TCU's a great program. Arkansas gets out of the inning, but Tennessee takes a 7-3 lead. Let's go to the Warren Nolan RPI rankings and just check those out. So right now in RPI, Georgia's 1, Auburn's 2, Vandy's 3, Texas is 4, Arkansas's 5, Oregon State is 6th. Like that's the one team I just do not get. They have not played a strong schedule. And they're not in a conference. So that's the one that's baffling to me. UCLA's at 14, TCU's at 15 in RPI. UC Irvine's at 19 now. Dallas Baptist is at 20. So I do think the teams that are in like the ACC and the SEC teams, they're going to be given some leeway with RPI because they're playing in the SEC and the ACC. That's the way I see it. Again, that could be totally wrong. I just think that should be generally how it's kind of looked at. Zach, so I guess you have to place a bid to be a host, and the committee has to approve it. UTSA didn't put in a bid, so they can't host a regional. Yeah, I mean, UTSA may not have the facilities to host. Again, you have to have a certain amount of capacity. You have to be able to, as a hosting team, you have to have a certain amount of capacity in your stadium to host a certain amount of fans. You also have to have enough hotels in the area to support like a bunch of families, a bunch of fans coming in. So, yeah, I'm guessing UTSA just didn't put the bid in. West Virginia, I think, is at 23 now. So I just don't see West Virginia getting a bid over like a Georgia Tech or an NC State in that regard, because West Virginia is behind Georgia Tech on RPI and only ahead of NC State by 3. The question is, can Tennessee again? Every team, especially all the non-SEC hosts right now, are hoping that Tennessee wins this series, because you do not want Tennessee in your regional. You just do not want them in your regional. That would be the scariest 2 seed maybe in the country for a team. That'd be the best 2 seed in the country. Oh, man. Iowa shouldn't be in the tournament? You think they shouldn't be in the tournament? What is Iowa's RPI? 69? Yeah. Nice. Well, Iowa, the problem with Iowa is they've dominated the Big Ten, which you have to say something about that. They're Q1, they're 0-3. Q2, they're 11-6. Q4, they're 11-6. Q3, they're 8-3. So they just have not, like, their conference record is ridiculous. They're 21-7, maybe 21-8 now. Or no, they're 21-7. Let's look at the SEC standings. If Alabama loses a series, they're probably not a host. Like, does Ole Miss, if Ole Miss beats Auburn, or if they sweep Auburn, or all of a sudden they're a host, and then Auburn falls back to maybe not a national seed, but they're still a host. There's so many things up in the air. Like, that's 6 through 10. That's 6 through 10 in the SEC, which is Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss, Florida. Is like, there's a lot up for grabs with those teams as far as getting a host or not getting a host. Hey, Kyle, right now I'm batting 400 and batting in the 4 spot for my team. I'm doing an 1800 Legion team this summer as a 16-year-old. Should I stick with the Legion next summer or go to a club? I would suggest going to a club. And the reason I say that is, if you want to be seen by college coaches, you need to play in, like, the big travel tournaments. That's just the reality. There's not a lot of, and again, if a school knows who you are, like, are they going to come watch you at a Legion game? Sure. But, like, if you want to maximize exposure, you got to play in some of those bigger tournaments. That's just the reality. Now, again, playing in the problem with those tournaments now are there's so many teams and players in those tournaments that, like, the coaches know who they're going to see before the tournament starts. So, like, you kind of got to hope that you either have a guy on your team coaches are coming to see, or maybe they're coming to see you, or maybe they're going to see a player on the opposing team. But I would suggest next year playing with a club team. Iowa has to win the Big Ten to make the tournament. Mississippi State with 25 runs on Missouri. Oof. Anything on Western Kentucky? Yeah, I think Western Kentucky's in. They're not going to be a host. I think Western Kentucky will get an at-large bid. It just seems like, let's look at Western Kentucky's RPI right now. Yeah, their Western Kentucky's at 46. So I think Western Kentucky will get an at-large. As long as they finish strong. As long as they finish, they finish well. They should be in. And right now they're on the ropes. Yeah, I mean, they got dominated by Oregon. Like, that's the thing. If Iowa does not... Like, if Iowa wins the series against Oregon, if they win these next 2 games, that'll help them out a lot. But I do think they have to make a run in the Big Ten tournament for sure, if not win the whole thing. Even though they're 21-7, like, it's crazy. Like, and again, it just shows you how different the conferences are. If you went 21-7, if you had 21 wins in the ACC, you're a national seed. And if you're in the Big Ten, like, you're hoping you make the tournament. That's crazy. So if Wake sweeps Louisville and goes 17-13 in the ACC and makes a run in the ACC tournament, should they host? Yeah, I mean, they should be in the consideration. right? That's the interesting thing is there's just so many teams in the ACC and the SEC that it's like if they finish strong and they make a good run in the tournament, like they're going to be in consideration. Is UCSB in? Let's see. UCSB is at 57 in RPI now, which would put them on the bubble because if you have some stolen bids and everything, UCSB's got to finish strong. Let's see who they were. Let's see who UCSB is playing this weekend. So UCSB is playing Cal Bakersfield right now, Cal State Bakersfield. They won 5-4, so they narrowly snuck it out. They cannot afford to lose a game to Bakersfield. Arkansas with 2 outs, runners on second and third. They're threatening. Santa Barbara has got to sweep the series against Bakersfield to feel safer. Because Bakersfield is 17-36. They're 8-19 in conference in the Big West. If you lose a game to Bakersfield, your RPI is dropping. And then all of a sudden you're in big trouble if you're UCSB. So like they have to win. They have to win all 3 games. They won tonight 5-4. Oregon State is beating Long Beach State 2-1. Long Beach State is 22-8 overall, 15-15 in the Big West. So again, it's like Oregon State is like going to get a national seed as long as they finish strong. I'm just like, why? That's the one team I don't get. Also, we don't know how many bid stealers there will be. Exactly, Zach. So if you're in that, like, if you're near the edge of like if you're UCSB and you're in like the high 50s in RPI, like you're sweating on selection day, depending on how many, like obviously UCSB has to sweep Bakersfield and you're still sweating on selection day because if there's like 3 or 4 bids stolen and there's going to be the bids that are stolen, that means there's 4 teams that are going to get at-larges. Like all of a sudden, UCSB is probably not in. So it's like UCSB is going to have to depend on sweeping this series against Bakersfield and also hoping that there's not a lot of bids stolen. Texas just hit a 3-run bomb against Oklahoma. They're now up. They're 7-4 in the top of the 9th. So they just broke the tie. Man, Tennessee is looking like they're in trouble now, boys. 3-0 count, 2 outs, runners on second and third. Does Dave Van Horn give the green light here? I don't know who's up. Now I'm watching. I don't know who. That's ball 4. Ball 4. But I think you're going to see, you might see a meeting, mound visit. And again, I've been reading y'all's questions. So I don't know if they had one earlier, but you just got to go out and talk to him and say, hey, man, like you just need 1 out. Like we just need 1 out. Attack this guy. We got a 4-run lead. Worst he can do is hit a grand slam and tie the game. Just make him hit it. You cannot walk this guy and let the go-ahead run come to the plate. Thoughts on A&M season? I mean, there's no other way to say it other than massive disappointment. Massive disappointment. They've had some injuries, but still, even with injuries, A&M's lineup is one of the best lineups in the country talent-wise, and their pitching's been really good. So A&M's just been a huge disappointment. I mean, that's just the reality. There's no other way to say it. Wow, just saw Vandy walk off 3-run bomb. Feels like they lock up a national seed with the series win. Oh, for sure. I mean, their RPI is like 3. So if they win this series, it's a lock for them being a national seed. That's tough for Kentucky too. I mean, Kentucky's in. You know, they're at 13 and 14. They're 13 and 15 now. So Kentucky's in, especially with just like one win. But even at 13, they're going to get in probably at 13 wins. Dude, Vandy, like, and talk about Tim Corbin. Like, just look at Vandy's offense, man. Vandy's starting lineup the game today against Kentucky. Their best hitter is hitting 293. The rest of their lineup is as follows from 1 through 9. This is their batting average. 246, 256. They had I think like they started a sophomore in the 3-hole. I don't know if he was a pinch runner. Okay, so zeros, no average. 259, 279, 254, 283, 293, 262. Their entire starting lineup is hitting under 300, and like they're going to be a national seed. Insane. Vandy can pitch, though. They can pitch, and again, they're Tim Corbin's going to run that offense, knowing they're not hitting a lot, so they're gonna push the issue. I mean, 3-run bomb is massive for Vandy. Like, they do not hit for a lot of power at all. They hit 3 home runs tonight, though. Will Jace Lavalette fall out of the first round? I don't think so. Patrick, how's that possible? Great pitching. They do have really good pitching. I will say this, like, this may be Brownie's best job as a pitching coach, because there's not a whole lot of star power in that pitching staff, but they've just found a way to win. And again, like an example of a really good, obviously with Tim Corbin, like one thing that Vandy does really well, if you look at their errors, they've made less than half an error per game, which is the best I've seen in the country. Of the teams I've looked at, they've done the best defensively. So they don't make errors. They don't give teams free runs. Tim Corbin's going to run that offense knowing they don't have a lot of power. They're not hitting very well. So they're going to push the envelope. Like, they're going to bunt. They're going to get guys in scoring position. They're just doing a great job of putting up enough runs to win. But their offense is, like, statistically, it's one of the worst in the SEC. Luke Heyman done for the year. Brutal for Florida. Wow, yeah. Will Jace Lavalette fall out of the first round from Smitty? I don't think he won't fall out of the first round, but he's not going to be, again, like, remember, coming into the season, he was a projected, like, possible 1-1. Like, a lot of people were saying he could go first overall pick. That's definitely not going to happen now. And let's look at his numbers. His numbers on the year. So, right, Lavalette, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. He's hitting 269. He's got 17 jacks. He's got 53 walks to 55 strikeouts. Tennessee avoids any runs. They get out of the inning, still up 7-3 to end the 7th. But Lavalette, yeah, I mean, look, he's got 17 home runs. He's OPSing over 1,000 still. But I would be scared to death picking him early in the first round. Like, I think a team will pick him up middle of the first round or later in the first round because you feel like you're buying low on a guy who, again, potentially when he came into the season, people thought he could go first overall pick. But I would be worried. I mean, if you're striking out an over 20% of your at-bats as a first-round bat out of college and you're hitting 269 in college, and again, he's being pitched around big time. He's being pitched around in a massive way. That would scare me. It would scare me. I don't think he drops out the first round, but I think he's going to go much later in the first round than people thought. Everyone hitting under 300 must hit bombs and have pitching. I'm guessing they do not hit bombs. They do not hit bombs. Well, like I'll show you right now. They do not hit home runs. They're just finding ways to win games. Again, they don't make mistakes on defense. So Vandy's team right now in 53 games has 57 home runs, which is very low in this era, like incredibly low. They do have one guy. They have two guys hitting over 300. Riley Nelson's hitting 368. He's been their best hitter by far. Jacob Humphreys hitting 302 in 41 games, so he hasn't started every game. The rest of the lineup is well below 300. As a team, they're hitting 268. They've scored 355 runs in 53 games, so they're scoring less than 7 runs per game, or what kind of right around that, which is pretty low. Their pitching staff has a 3.86 ERA. They've struck out almost 600 guys in 452 innings, and they've only walked 185. So their pitching staff is like really carrying the team, like really, and their bullpen is fantastic. Their bullpen is, they have legitimate weapons in the bullpen. And they've used the bullpen a lot, and they've really kind of relied on them. Defensively, in 53 games, they've made 33 errors. So they have made some more errors recently, but still, that number, like their opponents have made 63 errors in 53 games. They've made 33. So that's the difference for Vandy, really, is they just do not make mistakes defensively. UC Irvine up on Fullerton 6-2. Tennessee casually bringing in a reliever throwing 99. Yeah. Again, that's why I'm telling you, like, Tennessee does not, like, everybody wants Tennessee to win this series because they do not want Tennessee as a 2 seed in their regional. If Irvine hosts, I'm definitely taking my son to those games. I mean, I think Irvine, as long as they finish strong, they probably will be a host. Got to go tomorrow for the second Notre Dame win. All right, see you, Buck. Yeah, I got a few more minutes before I end the stream. Patrick, Kyle, your answer about Vandy was much more nuanced and detailed than the answer I was expecting. Love it. Thanks. Yeah, hey, no problem, man. No problem. No, I mean, Vandy's a fascinating case study because you look at them and you're like there's no way this team's, they're probably like 500 or maybe slightly below 500 in conference. And they're 17-11, and they're going to be a national seed, and they're a top 10 team in the country. Like, that's how, and again, like, that's how good of a coach Tim Corbin is. Like, you look at that offense, and you're like, how are they winning games? They're scoring, like, less than 7 runs per game. They got a good pitching staff. They're using the bullpen. And I think this is the other thing, is elite coaches, they're very good game managers. Like Tim Corbin is pulling a guy when he needs to be pulled. They have guys ready when they need someone ready, and they're utilizing that bullpen in just a very, very high level. And again, they don't make defense. They don't make errors on defense. They don't make mistakes. Is Tim Corbin the national coach of the year? Honestly, dude, like he's got to be in consideration because you look at the team overall and you're like, again, if you didn't know their record and you just went to their stats on the year, you'd say, okay, their pitching's good. Their defense is good. Their offense is bad, is what you would say. And you'd think, okay, based on those numbers, like there may be 16 and 14, or they're 15 and 15, or they're 14 and 16 in SEC play. Nope, they are 17 and 11 in SEC play. Like have a legitimate. They're probably going to finish at 18 and 12 or better. Again, so like I think you're right. I think Corbin has to be in consideration for National Coach of the Year, just because like Vandy does not have the star power in their lineup or on the pitching mound that they have in years past. Like you think of Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker and stuff. And before that, when I was playing against Vandy, it was like Walker Buehler, Carson Fulmer. Again, like Dansby Swanson, Tony Kemp, guys like that. They don't have guys like that. Like again, they have some really good pitchers, but they don't have like the Jack Leiter, Kumar Rocker star power, like two potential top 5 picks on the pitching mound. So, I mean, Tim Corbin's just done a heck of a job, and that's why he's a GOAT in college baseball as far as coaching is considered. Will Oral Roberts ever be elite again? I mean, it's going to be difficult. It's probably not. I mean, again, like who knows what's going to happen in the future of college baseball, and like all it takes, like look at Arizona State, like their AD's like, yeah, we're gonna fund them all full rides. So Arizona State's about to be a powerhouse again, and they're already having a really good year, but Arizona State's going to be a powerhouse again. So the question is like, is your athletic department going to invest in support your baseball team enough to get them to be back in the national spotlight? I think for Oral Roberts, it's going to be difficult. But all right, guys, that's going to be it for me tonight. Thanks for joining and chatting, and obviously I enjoy doing these because I love talking to you guys and just talking baseball and watching games. We will be back tomorrow with another stream tomorrow night, just talking results of the games from tomorrow. So look out for that. Appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of your night.